going to be the audio on the phone and the audio on the computer, I meant. I think we got to think about that. It's not used, the phone and then the computer feedback.
Oh, I guess
we got to figure that out.
You just don't be on here. I guess like one of us going to be talking to here majority, so you don't really got to be on your phone. You know what I mean?
But then how are they going to hear me?
What?
No, he needs to hear you on the Clubhouse too, because this is both Clubhouse and YouTube.
So there's a little bit of a lag on. All right. Let's get this on. Let's figure out how we're gonna do this. Yeah, I need. Can you grab them? I think we just need a little bit more time.
We have an attendee, Emily. I was saying,
Yeah, Amit.
yes.
So I can see myself on the Zoom. I think we're good, but then on the YouTube, I'm a little frozen. I think it's catching up now.
So it says live on YouTube on my side, and then it says recording.
Yeah. So yeah, I see that too.
So should we? Join the Clubhouse room.
I think we. Hold on. Okay, cool. So what I just did is I just muted my YouTube so that I can't hear that secondary feedback. But the thing is that what's gonna happen is the YouTube will be just a little bit delayed past the actual Zoom, because it's like a 5 to 6 second lag. So why am I still hearing it? Is that coming from your computer, Ahmed? Why do I still hear myself on the YouTube?
It may be my computer then. Maybe let me mute myself.
Mute. Are you on YouTube on your computer too?
I'm not on YouTube. No.
Oh, I had it in. Oh, you can check it out. Okay, I had two tabs open. No. The alt. Okay, cool. All right. So, all right, that's my fault. All right, cool. So we're almost good. So what I gotta do, I gotta join into the chat. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a. Where's that feedback coming from?
Is it coming from me?
I think so.
Wow, it is me.
Yeah, I think so. So what we need to do is, what's going on, T-Ross? What's going on, Ted? It's going to be definitely a great review session we're going to do today. We're also doing streaming it live. So what I think we can do, Amit, so I'm looking at you on Zoom right now, so I think that's good. What we'll be able to do is we can pull it up on, so when somebody sends us the actual resume, we'll pull it up via Zoom. But then we'll be on Clubhouse for the actual audio. What's going on, Barbara?
Hope everyone's doing well.
Okay. So when I'm talking right now, can you hear me through Clubhouse?
No, you're
when you go off mute.
You're muted on Clubhouse, so I can't hear you.
I know, but through your Clubhouse, I'm saying. Hey, what's going on? I can definitely hear you. Thanks for joining in. We're gonna have an interesting chat today. We're looking at doing some resume reviews, LinkedIn reviews for some folks. As we're in the new year, which is really exciting. But how are you doing? I know you're supposed to catch up soon.
I'm doing well. I was just coming in to say hello and to show some support. So I'm gonna let you help the people that need to be helped for sure.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. I think it's something that it's definitely well needed as people are looking to transition into new roles. It's the new year, so everybody wants to go into something else. And especially if you haven't been, enjoying your current job, or if you're looking to just switch careers. I mean, obviously, the resume is the most important thing, and we're going to be jumping on. And what we're trying to do today is kind of blend the YouTube and Clubhouse, trying to do something new as to where what's going on, Anton. Whereas if someone is sending us the resume to look at, we can pull it up on actual YouTube as well. So if they want to join in and see the critique live, we're going to be sharing screen and things like that. So we're trying to do something new. But yeah, I think it's going to be great. And I think that anybody who's in the audience, if you are looking to get your resume reviewed, feel free to raise your hand and just go ahead and type in Brand Resumes on YouTube. We have the link there. Okay, we just got Ted to send his. What's going on, Ted? So yeah, just search us on YouTube, Brand Resumes. You'll see the actual email to send your resume. And we'll take it from there.
On the stage. Definitely gonna bring up Ted. I'm gonna start picking some people too.
You have some feedback going.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on, Ted?
Just watching all this chaos going on at the Capitol. Just
That's good, man. Hold your head up. That's why we do this, so we could just take people's minds off of the real world and really focus on themselves and their professional development at the end of the day.
Definitely this is a great opportunity to get some free game and just guidance and some reviews and critiques on whatever the thing is. I've been struggling with not even struggling, just need to optimize a little better and just make a lot of adjustments. So I'm happy to be here and happy to get the book from you guys. So.
Of course. And where are you at right now in terms of like your location? Just give us a quick background on yourself, like who you are, you know, what you're looking to do, you know, what you're doing now. I think some of that is good. I'm getting ready to pull it up right now on my screen. So yeah, just tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm 23 years old. I'm from Miami, Florida. Originally moved up here in Atlanta in 2008. Graduated from Langston Hughes High School, went to the Georgia Southern for 2 years. I didn't really know what I wanted to study, so I ended up withdrawing from school and going back home to work full time. And in the midst of that, I came across the technology space and applied to a technical school in my area. From there, I studied computer programming for 2 years, got my associate's degree. And in the meantime, or at the same time as me studying for my associates, I got a job working with the NBA. So I started working with NBA Digital as a live operations analyst. So I'm working on their digital products. Just the mobile app, web application, and everything, and the quality standards from clients as well as users. And it's sort of like a testing role if anybody's familiar with tech. So it's like a junior QA role that I was in, and I've been there for 3 years. But this past year, I transitioned to a different department and a more technical role where I'm doing actual QA work and doing more technical, having more technical responsibilities. So for me, I just wanted to, you know, continue on that path. Right now, I'm studying QA automation, so coding background. But for me, I don't like coding actually, and like developing software. So for me, I feel like QA is something where I can take my coding skills, but
well, QA is actually, yeah, absolutely. And that makes sense. And thank you for giving that background. It's awesome that you were able to kind of get that first big role. You know, QA is pretty big still. And once you kind of learn how to write all those automation scripts to run those automated tests and all that stuff, I actually come from a technology background as well. I started my career in a tech consultant, and I used to manage at one point 40 software engineers, a full QA team, and actually an actual Scrum team as well. So I'm definitely in the knowing in terms of, you know, where you're at and where you're going. So, you know, you have some of that coding experience in that background, but are there certain roles that you've looked at and you're like, you know what, I think that this is where I'm looking to go?
So far, this QA automation, like a mid-level role where I'm not creating the frameworks for a company, but I'm assisting in, like you're saying, maintaining testing scripts and developing more testing scripts for a QA development team. So I think that's my route. But at the same time, my interests fall towards more of like AI, machine learning. So I've been recently applying to coding boot camps. I think I will apply or be accepted to General Assembly soon. And I wanted to kind of pivot towards more of a data analytics or data science type career field or job.
Got it. All right, cool. So now you have a really interesting case because you're in the field. You've been working in QA for a little bit, but now you're looking to get more into kind of, you know, data analytics roles. And that's, you know, that's vast. Like you got the data analysts, you got the data scientists, you got the people who just help building the actual AI models and helping with the actual AI engineers. So that's awesome. And I think that you also going to get this, if you do get accepted into GA, that'll be really helpful. Now I'm about to pull up your resume, but the only thing is that I don't have a Mac. Do you have your resume as a Word doc or PDF? And that's a key thing as well, is that you should always send your Word doc as a PDF or an actual Word doc. Because, you know, in terms of the application tracking systems and what people use to even vet the resume. If it's not the right format, then you're essentially throwing that out the gate. So this is the great, you got the good advice from the rip.
This would be very quick. I guess that was the problem. But I understand over the PDF.
Yeah, PDF resumes all the way, and also Word docs. Because again, you just never know who's on the receiving end. If they can't open up the file type, then you're going straight to the no pile. So even that, is just something small. But I'm excited to see what it actually looks like. And are you also pursuing any certifications outside of just kind of doing like GA? I know in tech it's a little interesting in terms of certs, but are there anything that you saw? Because that could be another easy way to kind of get yourself out there.
Yeah, I think it's ITS-BQ, something like that. ITS-QB, I want to say, that certification for like you can say foundational QA knowledge, or you can say there were certain niche certifications that are out there. The reason why I was kind of reluctant to it is because it's so specific that they have on there. So if there was one that I was interested in, would probably be the automation QA one, but because everything else is kind of like particular to a certain skill set or a certain avenue in software development. So you have like security testing, agile testing, or just project management, and nothing that really covers like the broad spectrum of QA. But there are different levels to it. So they have foundational level, intermediate, I guess, and then advanced. So I'm open to it, but at the same time, I'm kind of iffy on it because I feel like that can only take me so far since I don't have a 4-year bachelor. So yeah, I'm more of focused on this data analytics and machine learning wave now. But in the meantime, I think if there would be any certifications I'll take, it would probably be just the automation QA one.
For sure, yeah. And the beauty about the certifications is that not only could it also allow you to get a higher salary, sometimes $10,000 to $20,000 more per certification, depending on how good it is and how well established it is in the actual industry. And that's something that people don't know. Like for me, I personally have my certified Scrum Master, CSM, which is essentially being able to manage agile teams, understanding, there's the intricacies in terms of managing a software development team. And once I got that actual, certification, it opened up so many doors for me when I was still working at PwC, because I was able to go ahead and, get on more projects. And then I realized that, that just having that skill set in itself was something that was just invaluable. So I'm big on that. You can definitely get a higher salary, but then also you lower the time that it's going to take for people to get you trained up. So it's definitely a big leveraging bargain, in terms of that. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in, but that's good. So let me see. Did you send the next resume? I'm not sure if you saw it come across yet.
No, I thought you were gonna share your screen.
Yeah, I think I just sent it. You guys can just reply to that email.
Yep, I got it. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up.
How you guys feel about Udemy? I think they have Nando degrees. I don't know if you guys heard of that, but they're sort of similar to certifications, but I think it's certified through Udemy. Is that a good certification to go after? Or?
Yeah, I think those micro certifications do definitely help. They're not as big as a 4-year degree or like one of the widely known ones, like a General Assembly or something like that. But the benefit is that you're getting the skill set, right? And it doesn't matter where you're getting from, as long as it's a trusted and it's a reputable source. So you getting the information that you need is very valuable. Now, where those micro degrees and those kind of micro certifications come into play, and it's very nice, is being able to put those on your LinkedIn profile. Because again, you got to really protect your resume real estate, is what I like to say, because, depending on your resume, you don't want it to be too long as well. So having those degrees on your LinkedIn shows that you've done more than just, the basic level. So I would say that, to go for it and have that there. But again, I think a lot of those are just hyper specialized skill sets. So you just you just want to be, making sure that you're in the known there, and you have that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a plus, but I wouldn't, say it's just as good as everything else. So I got your resume up. I'm just, my computer's moving just a little bit slow.
And it looks like like I just exported it over from Pages to Xfile.
Mhm.
It's madly just off of the format that I had it originally in Pages. So like I'm looking at it in the preview,
Mhm.
and it's just, this is ugly. So just
Good. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one. So let's jump in. Ted, this is going to be, a quick review that we're going to do, kind of go through some of the key things that
Yep.
that we see. So could you see my screen?
Yep, I can see your screen.
All right. So, all right. First things first, let's take a look at this resume. Let's see how many pages it is. So we got two pages.
2 pages. Well, 1.5. 1.5.
1.5. And I'm not sure, on the original file, was it 1 page or was it 1.5?
It's 1 page in the original file.
On the original. Okay. So probably the formatting is a little bit better. Okay. So
yeah, and I have my contact information at the top and everything. This is weird.
Yeah. So what I did is I took that off, just so that we are streaming live. No one can go ahead and just and kind of copy that down. But aside from that, okay, so I see that you have some qualifications. You have a lot of bullet points as a summary. So first thing that kind of struck me, even when I did see your actual, the address and all that come across, you don't need to put your full address on your resume. That's one of the key things that I would say. You can definitely go for city and state, because one of the key things that's interesting is that people can Google your address, and you don't want to open up any bias based off of where you live and things like that. It's one of those small things that you wouldn't really think about. So I would definitely remove the full address and just go for the city and state. And when I look at this actual summary, and I'm not sure if originally this was just all a paragraph or so, or if it was intended to be bullet points, but it's almost like really cumbersome to see all these bullet points, right away. And that's not your actual professional experience. Like when it comes to a summary, your summary should be about 2 to 3 sentences max. I like that you started with like how many years that you have of experience. It says like qualifications include 5 years of QA, quality control. But I think that you can really slim that up because you're kind of going into, it's a blend of like your expertise versus, your years of experience versus like just a little bit more about like your interpersonal skills. And I think that you might want to kind of slim that up a bit.
Okay.
Definitely. I want to ask you, Ted, have you ever looked at another resume that's similar to your field or your industry? Have you ever did like a comparison between resumes?
I had colleagues send me theirs, but as far as like Googling a resume or anything like that, I haven't, honestly. Like I really haven't had to review my resume. Like I got my bachelor, I just made it on the fly and haven't been utilizing it that well, as you guys can see. So.
Absolutely. You definitely want to, look at the competition. It's always great to kind of mimic what someone that's, higher up in the ladder, what they're doing and how their resume looks. So you can just, strive to be, somewhat better than them. So you can definitely come for their, role or titles, or just see how they just, verbatim speak about their accomplishments and achievements. And you'll definitely pick up a lot on that as well.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, and I would also say that one of the biggest resume red flags that I'm looking at is that you don't have a skill section, especially from you being in a highly technical field. Whether you call it skills or if you call it core competencies, you definitely are going to want to have a skill section that literally lists out all the different things that you are comfortable with. So I see that because I have to kind of dig deep to see, okay, Jira, right? Like everybody knows what Jira is, especially if you're doing defect management. But you should have all of your skill sets in an actual skills section because that's going to parse well when it comes to the actual ATS system. So that's just small game, and how you might want to format that is up to you. But I do think that you are missing some critical aspects of it. That skill section is huge, especially for roles that you're in. And then I know it's a little hard because in terms of how it kind of got parsed over, but even small things in terms of like the formatting, how you have like some of like the big dashes here, and then there's kind of like smaller dashes there. You know, those are small things that definitely add up. So everything across the sun should be definitely you know, simplified, but then also it should be consistent, right? Like consistent formatting is one of the biggest issues that a recruiter or hiring manager might be looking at. They're like, you know what, if this person can be, you know, consistent with the resume and kind of get straight to the point, then why would I even want to bother with an actual interview? So that's one of the key things. And then I think that you're just lacking more numbers and percent signs, like the ones, because people's eyes draw to numbers and percent signs. So the only ones I see, I see is kind of like, okay, like 2 million plus weekly active users. Like I'm directly looking at that because numbers and percent signs stick out. So when you're working to articulate, you know, what you've done, just be very cognizant that you want to go for high impact success stories, accomplishments, and achievements. And the more numbers that you can use will definitely help you because it'll contextualize what you've done.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Right, Ted, I want to ask you, are you familiar with what ATS stands for?
Say it again.
Are you familiar with the applicant tracking software systems, the ATS?
No, I'm not. I'm not familiar.
Okay. All right. So think about this. Think about it like this, right? Due to the pandemic, there are thousands of unemployed people that are just, you know, announced every week. So you got to think about all these HR companies that now have to go through thousands of resumes on a given daily basis, and you got to think about, you know, the infrastructure that's put in place today and what's really going to be happening, you know, tomorrow. And we are living in the future, I like to say. So there's software put in place by a lot of these HR departments in all these top big brand companies, where they're basically sifting through your resume, running through your resume on these databases and making sure that you have the analytics, the dollar signs, the number signs, the percentiles, because that's what's really pulling out of these systems, right? And as they're looking at your resume physically, then they're going to be able to give it, you know, how long is it, Brandon? Like 30 seconds they will take a chance at your resume and then decide whether or not they even go to your LinkedIn.
And that's a key thing. Your LinkedIn profile is not on your resume. Big thing to have there. You know, that's like a standard. When we kind of talk to job seekers and clients, is to make sure that their LinkedIn profile is on their resume. I'm not sure what your LinkedIn looks like, but you know, if you are getting serious about, you know, being able to transition and kind of making sure that, you know, whatever that role is, your resume is going to really be a representation of who you are. And, you know, don't be afraid to use a pop of color either. You know, like the black and white is kind of a little old school. So some colors that I like to use is like kind of like blues throughout the document. We have some samples that we can show you as well if you know, if you want to see some of what we've done before. But yeah, I think that you know, definitely have a pop of color. The LinkedIn profile is critical, you know, and that skill section, like those are like the immediate red flags that I'm like, wow, like you know, that's just like key things. Okay.
Yeah. It sounds like that can definitely bolster it a lot more than what it's looking like right now. Because you guys are right. It does. It's a lot of information to sift through.
Like I'm not saying, like these tools, these software machines, and these AI machines, basically they have a criteria that has to be met. I'm pretty sure that, you know, that I'm not meeting right now, so gotta get this together, man.
Yeah. And do you have a timeline for when you want to get into a new role as well? Or is it just like, sometime this year, you're like, you know, I really want to kind of, you know, be in my bag about getting to, you know, these kind of new jobs and these roles and kind of being able to apply and all that?
For me, as soon as possible, because I'm in a freelancer role with Warner Media now, doing working with sports technology, so I have a lot more free time on my hands, and I'm working remote, so that opens up a lot of flexibility. So for me, it's as soon as possible. As soon as my resume is where it needs to be, I'm gonna hop back in the job market today after I make the changes and start applying stuff.
Excellent. Love to hear that. Awesome. So yeah, that's definitely our feedback that I would say for sure. And if there's anything, else that you think, you could definitely need some guidance with, I'm sure Amit might send you an email later with just some additional feedback as we look to find you up on LinkedIn and things like that. But now I think you have a good head on your shoulders and you know where you're going, but it's just about getting there now, and kind of getting past it. Okay, I want to do it, and actually just getting it done. But like I said, those key things, right? Skill section needs to be on every resume. LinkedIn profile should be on a resume. And then you should slim down that summary and call it professional summary as well. Don't if you're going to include a summary. Okay.
Got it. I'll make the changes on that. I appreciate you guys, and I also drop my LinkedIn in the YouTube chat, so it's there.
Awesome.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks for connecting with us. Take care.
You as well.
Green Tea, thanks for stepping up. Today we're doing free live resume reviews. So if you can and you want a review, you can definitely email over us your resume, and you can hop on YouTube and you can watch us live. Just really go through your resume, talk to you about the do's and the don'ts, and what you can do to get the leg up in the standard job market.
That sounds wonderful. Where would I be emailing my resume?
Yeah, if you just go on your YouTube app as well, you can leave Clubhouse running in the background, and just type in Brand Resumes. We're live as well, so you can see us, and then we're going to pull up the resume and kind of go through it as well with you.
Okay, so you said, just give me 1 second. We're at on YouTube first, so I can pull it up and see you, gentlemen.
Awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. So you can search up Brand Resumes, BrandResumes, and you'll see our lovely faces.
Oh, look. Hello. How are you all?
Hey.
What's going on?
All right. So, and I am.
Well, Brandon, do you want to bring her in the Zoom? Should we send her the invite for the Zoom? Should we send her the invite to the Zoom so we could see her too, or?
We potentially could. I could pin the Zoom link in the actual chat as well, for sure. We'll do that.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Would you be down to come on and join us, Green Tea?
Sure. Let me turn on some better lighting. I'm just happen to sit outside, do some work.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Right.
Full disclosure, thank you.
This is our first time doing this live, so I'll be prepared for a bumpy ride, but it's all about the journey.
All right, sounds like a plan. I have a background in law. I'm not sure what you all gentlemen's backgrounds are. So prior to you viewing my resume, I should let you know that I have a plethora of legal background, and I am particularly trying to get employment in Los Angeles now that I have transferred from New Jersey in intellectual property, family law, or some type of contract analysis work.
Got it. So that's awesome.
We actually do specialize in the legal industry. We've worked with anywhere from legal assistants to attorneys to general counsel to contract specialists, the front on yards. I work with IP attorneys. I work with patent attorneys and things like that. So awesome. So you're looking to target roles in LA. You're coming from Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. I live in Jersey right now. And so what are there specific job titles that you're targeting?
Case manager, paralegal, contract analyst, junior paralegal, depending if it's in intellectual property, somewhere along those lines.
Got it. Sweet. So what we'll do is I will go ahead and as soon as you send over the resume, we can definitely deep dive into it and see if you would be if it's up to par. Because it's a really tough job market right now. So having a really good resume and personal and professional brand right now can really set yourself apart from the actual competition. So really interested to see what you got going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It looks like we are joined by our other host, Emily. Looks like she just joined us.
And resume.
And have you started applying with this resume yet? Or is it still just kind of like you want to get it fixed before you start putting it out there?
No, I have started applying with this resume actually.
Got it. Awesome. Okay.
Copy and oh, look, here we go. All right, so where am I emailing it?
So if you're on the YouTube, or even if you're not, it's
so if you're on the YouTube, or even if you're not, you could just email it to team@BrandResumes, and then we'll be able to look at it from there. And we'll pull it up on the screen as well on the YouTube Live, so you can see that.
Okay.
So
I couldn't listen to the YouTube and on
Clubhouse. Yeah, I know. We're trying to do that too.
At the same time, there's some feedback actually. So I have team @brandresumes.com.
Yes, BrandResumes plural. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'll just title the subject here. You can call me Green.
Nice.
Hey, what's going on, the beam?
All right, so it's been sent, and then is someone sending me an email to be visible on your Zoom?
Yeah, so if you join what I'll do is I'll just send you the Zoom link via.
So what Brandon will do is he said he'll send you the Zoom link. So we'll send it to you from you sending us the email.
Okay.
Hey, Vadam, how's it going? We're doing free resume reviews and critiques. So if you want us to review your resume or your LinkedIn for you after green tea, we'd be happy to do so. Just raise your hand.
All right, for sure. Now it's gonna be nice. So, like I said, definitely join in the Zoom if you're just listening in. The actual YouTube, because we are live and we are pulling up the actual resumes. So I have yours pulled up. As soon as you jump into either the YouTube or the Zoom,
Brandon, you're muted.
Yeah, so once you actually join into the YouTube or the Zoom, you'll be able to see it. I have it pulled up, which is exciting. So we'll be able to go and kind of pick it apart from there. And if you're just joining, what's going on, Leander? Big shout out to Leander, another big voice in the career advancement space. Definitely follow him as well. Shout out to Spark Your Resume. Right now we're doing free resume reviews. So we're trying to blend it and do it on YouTube and Clubhouse. We're running live right now on YouTube. So just go ahead and type in Brand Resumes on YouTube. You can go ahead and kind of find us. If not, just go ahead and just listen in.
Yeah, and you could also follow us on social media at Official Brand Resumes.
So Green Tea, you said you're joining the Zoom. Did you get the link? Awesome.
get any other feedback, so I'm gonna mute myself.
All right, awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Hey, what's going on, Christina?
Hey, Christina, we're doing live resume critiques and reviews. So if you want us to look at your resume after Miss Green Tea, we'd be happy to do so. Just raise your hand and we'll bring you up on stage. Oh, look like she's down.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yep, I can see it. Are we gonna wait for her to come in here, or?
Nah, just go through it, bro.
All right.
Where can I view the screen? Yeah, I can't view it either. Hello, Christina. How are you tonight? Hi, thank you guys for holding space for this. Honestly, I feel like this is unheard of, so. Thank you.
Yep, we are the first to do this.
Yeah, we want to make it live and actual interactive. A lot of times, you know, we could just talk about it, but it's one thing to be able to see it. So let me know if you can see it now. There might be just a little bit of a delay. It's our first time trying to do the YouTube and Clubhouse. But let me know if you can see it now. I am sharing my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it crystal clear. Thanks.
So I'm waiting for it to probably pop up on the YouTube. I know there's just a little bit of a lag there. So I'm just gonna wait for it to do that. I do want to jump into this, but looking at it right now, we got a lot to talk about. We got 3 pages going on right here, so it's definitely a lot. Definitely a lot to talk about. I'm hoping that.
You know, it's not really about how many pages you have, but it's really about the content of how you maximize the page, right? You want to take up all the real estate in the most efficient way possible, but you also want to make it appealing to the eye, and you don't want to be overlooked for certain type of accomplishments and achievements, because at the end of the day, we all work hard for what we put on this resume at the end of the day.
Right. All right, so I'll go ahead and start to just jump into it. I think it's up right now on the YouTube, just so you all can see. And I think there's a button that you can click and it'll say jump to live. I actually just clicked it on my laptop and it kind of sped me up. So, all right, let's kind of break this apart. So first things first, I like that you have your name in the middle and center. That's typically the best place to put your actual kind of contact information. And I see that you are missing your city and state, and I guess you could have, omitted that information just because you don't want anybody to know where you're coming from. But if you are targeting a specific location, it's okay to put like Los Angeles, California on there, because a lot of the ATS systems, and ATS just stands for applicant tracking system, they will look for certain resumes within certain geographies and disciplines. So not that it'll hurt you, but it can help by actually having the city and state. You don't ever need to put a full address on your resume just because you want to prevent any bias from people going in and kind of like Googling your address and figuring out like where you live and what you look for and things like that. But that's kind of just from the top down. And I see you have your professional profile. Now, this is a little bit too long, to be quite honest. If you want to go for a professional summary, it should say professional summary. And it should ideally be, 2 to 3 high-level sentences talking about your years of experience. And if you can put like 1 or 2 notable things that you've done in your career that's like such a heavy-hitting achievement or success story that's going to get them to want to read more about you, because you got to think about it. Your resume is your first impression, and whatever that first third of the first page, how it makes them feel, will really depend on if they're going to keep scrolling. And that's one of the little known secrets, is that you think you have 2, 3, 4, 5 pages to write content, but if I'm not impressed with the first third of the first page, I'm not going to keep scrolling. So I think that, you can definitely condense it. I'd say go for a paragraph style if you're going to do a professional summary. Have about 2, 3 sentences. Definitely put your years of experience, because think about it. What people want to understand if they're looking to hire for someone is, how many years of experience do you have? Like, are you an entry level? Are you a mid-career professional? Are you an executive? So I should be able to understand that within the first 2 seconds of opening up your resume, right? And then I see you have a kind of like a blend going of your hard skills, your soft skills. I see ability to communicate effectively in diverse settings. That's amazing. That's essentially a soft skill, which is great. Is that the most relevant thing that's gonna, make or break you getting the role? And should that be right, front and center? So I think that there is also a little bit of reorganization that I would do in terms of the content. If you're gonna start with the professional summary, that's okay. And because you are looking for more of a legal role, which education sometimes matters a lot, depending on where you got your degree from, and kind of where you were sworn in, and kind of some of that stuff. I would move that up a little bit, especially now. Did you have did you pass the bar yet? Is that something that you're looking to take soon?
I haven't even taken the LSAT. I'm in the process of going forward with applying to law school. So
awesome.
I'll be using this for my law school application. I've just been working as a paralegal and been blessed to have had wonderful, tutelage from, these women lawyers. So.
I love it. I love it. No, that makes a lot of sense. Because once you do start to kind of go towards that, and if you are going to look to apply for kind of grad school and all that, I would move your education up a bit. So it's not kind of at the bottom of the second page, because that definitely matters a lot, especially in the legal field. That's one of those things where it's like it could definitely pique someone's interest. Now in some fields like technology, where you got your education sometimes doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have an actual degree. But in the legal field, it's a little bit different. And then just diving into, the core competencies. I like that you put that there. I think that you should go for more hard skills for your core competencies, because you have a little bit of soft skills there. So attention to detail, solution finder, those are awesome things about you. But honestly, I would get rid of all that and turn that into like a skill section and really go for your hard skills, whether that's like legal writing, legal document review, things like that, because those are the skill sets that they're really looking for. And you can even go to LinkedIn and find some job descriptions and some roles that are available and map out what are the skill sets, the hard skills that they're even looking for, to make sure that those are on your resume. So I think that there's a bit of reorganization that you could definitely do. Did you want to add something?
Did you want to say something, Green Tea?
No, I was just saying thank you. I welcome all critiques. It's interesting to hear you say that. This is actually a resume that I paid to have put together for me for the purpose of applying to different opportunities out here in Los Angeles. So I very much so hear what you said, and I like where you're going with as far as restructuring it and putting different aspects to the forefront. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And whoever put this together, I mean, even the formatting is not where it should be. So
yeah, whoever put this together, you need to contact them and maybe get your money back, and we got you.
So one of the key things that I would say as well is the fact that there aren't a lot of numbers and percent signs, which is something that you do want on a resume. Because again, people's attention goes to numbers and percent signs, and you can kind of contextualize and quantify the work that you were doing. And as I'm scrolling through this, it's like I see a little bit of numbers and percent signs, but also your bullet points are just a little bit too short. Like your bullet points should be a full line, if not 2 full lines, because it should give someone enough information about what you've done to be like, wow, like that's really impressive. You don't want people kind of guessing what you did based off your resume. It should be straight there. So I'm gonna give you an example. So I see it says like your first experience at CASA, draft, review, and finalize court reports. My first question is, what type of court reports? How many court reports? Is this something that you're doing on a daily basis, weekly basis? Did you need to then draft, review, finalize this, send this to like a senior attorney? Like that one thing there, as small as that might seem to you, you could really expand on that And it could be such a beautiful bullet point that's going to get somebody to be like, wow, like you did all that and you did this many and this is who you did it for, to really contextualize what you've done and just kind of bring that to life. So I think that you want to really, really revise all these bullet points, use numbers where applicable. And a rule of thumb is that you don't want more than 4 to 6 bullet points per actual job title. And where we're coming from is brand resumes and that's a little bit more about us. We helped over 1,000 job seekers last year, from entry-level graduates, micro professionals, executives, and a lot of those folks got jobs. And so, we're a little bit, and what I like to consider is industry leaders in the space. So I definitely think that there's a lot that you can do to just improve this. And then just one other key thing that I see that I'm looking at, it's kind of scaring me, is in terms of the formatting. So I'm going to try and highlight it. But as you go to the second page and you see the Gordon Law Firm, it says July 2016 to December 2017. But then if you go to the Martin, Gunn, and Martin, it's like a dash instead of the 2. So small things like that should be consistent across your entire document. Line spacings, things like that. It should really, really look good and just nice and clean. So those are the aesthetic things. And then also just on the actual content, I would clean up. And honestly, this could be a 2-page document because a lot of people are not going to read 3 pages. So I would even opt to move your volunteer experience to LinkedIn and just keep it real nice and clean on 2 pages.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, and if I may just add one last thing that you should really do is when you're really thinking about crafting the professional, summary, really think about crafting an elevator pitch. Think about something that's short, concise, to the point. Like Brandon said, highlighting your industry expertise, and really spearheading, one or two of those key accomplishments that you've had in the past, because that's the first thing that's really going to catch their eyes. And you want to really be as alluring as possible, so they'll just, really take their time and read thoroughly throughout your resume to bring you in for that interview when you are ready to pursue that job.
So thank you very much. So your BrandResumes brand, you guys do this professionally for people individually, or is this just something that you're bringing to Clubhouse?
Yeah, no, we started in May of 2019. We have over 40 resume writers, all have master's degrees and PhDs, and we specialize in writing resumes and LinkedIn profiles, interview coaching, career coaching across a few fields: technology, business, legal, HR, education, finance, telecommunications, investment banking. So we have a lot of industries that we specialize in, and we work with clients all day, every day. So we just decided to do free resume critiques on Clubhouse. We don't typically, this is something new that we're trying to do, just content and helping people and just giving this game. Because a lot of times people can think that their professional branding looks really good if they just trusted somebody, or they just kind of put it together or trusted, like, the aunt or the uncle who kind of has a good job and says, oh yeah, I'll just look at your resume. But we do this every day. This is our full-time jobs as career coaches / resume writers. So we're just jumping on Clubhouse to give the free game, help people, and just answer any questions. So we're gonna be doing this every Wednesday. If you know somebody else who's questioning whether they want to jump, whether they want to get into a new role, we are definitely gonna be doing this every week, because there's so many people we literally get on consultations all day long with clients. And it's very apparent that it doesn't matter if you're an entry-level graduate or if you're the VP at TD Bank for 17 years. A lot of times this new age guidance isn't really taught anywhere. Even in college, it's not taught. People don't know what they're doing. No shade if anybody works at a career center. But we're really here to kind of give this expert level guidance to just anybody. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for all that you do.
Of course.
Not a problem. It looks like we have time for one last quick one before we wrap it up, because we're going to be back here next week as well. But thank you so much, Green Tea. Christina, if you could just email over us your resume.
I can. I also have LinkedIn. Do you prefer that?
Yeah, it's whichever you want to do.
search Christina Jerome, spelled Christina.
Yeah, I think Brandon, we could do the LinkedIn for the last one then.
Well, no, my resume is there, and I have a portfolio there, but I can email it to you if you prefer that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find you on LinkedIn. Just give me 1 second. And I see that you're in artist marketing and R&D. That's awesome. I would love to talk to you about EPKs. We're starting to help music artists and producers with those as well, outside of just job seekers. Awesome stuff.
Of course. Yeah, no, this is super helpful. I really appreciate it. I realized that I'm an experience in the world where, you know, college experience was relevant, but also, you know, the do-it-yourself era. So a lot of my experience is very, you know, small agency projects that I've been handed off of just, you know, being able to do the job, word of mouth, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't have so much corporate experience. And now that I'm trying to get into the corporate world, I find it to be extremely difficult because, you know, I'm looking at my resume. I technically have not held a corporate job. I don't know if that matters or not. So I appreciate your help. And I'm looking to get into streaming. I work in artist marketing now. I've worked with a few labels, Atlantic, Warner, all that good stuff. But I'm looking to like get into tech because, you know, I'm gonna be real with you guys. That's where the money is. And I'm obviously, you know,
Definitely.
I'm looking for like a Spotify, a SoundCloud, and Apple Music. Like that's where I see myself on like the label relations, artist marketing side.
No, absolutely. And we've worked with, you know, rappers, DJs, producers. So we'd absolutely love to, you know, take a look at this resume whenever you have that up, Brendan.
Yep. I'm getting ready to share my screen now.
Perfect. And you're tuning in live with us as well, Christina, right? Like you're on our YouTube live.
I am. This is super cool. Like I'm really gonna get people on. I just followed this club, so I'm glad that you guys are doing this. And the fact that there's a visual and audio aspect to this, I haven't seen that done before yet.
Yep. We're trying to break barriers here.
trying to break the mold. You know, it's the missing piece on Clubhouse, but Clubhouse is good for what it's good for. But yeah, we want to get a little bit, you know, closer to helping people, especially in this, you know, this whole document and things like that. Awesome. So before we jump into the actual review, and I'm going to point out some of the key things on your LinkedIn. Definitely good photo. Nothing there is wrong, but I would suggest that as soon as tomorrow you work on an actual LinkedIn banner, kind of like headline, like to kind of go behind your actual photo. That's good for just your personal brand and just kind of having some aesthetics aside from just the basic one that LinkedIn provides. And looking at, you know, all this stuff, like it looks like you are definitely creative. And I'm not sure if you put together your portfolio, your resume yourself, but you can kind of have like your kind of brand, you know, to kind of go with that as well. That's one of the key things that I looked at, and I'm looking at the bio. So, you know, first person. Yep, educated marketer, extensive experience.
Absolutely.
First, definitely also include your years of experience, even if it's 2+, 3+, 1+. It gives a little bit of a good gauge for folks sometimes, depending on what you're looking for. So, are you looking for kind of entry-level associate roles, or are you looking for management roles? I think that's a good question.
I actually was advised to take off my years of experience because I keep seeing the roles that I want to apply for require 8-10 years of experience, and I'm 28. It's not physically possible. So I'm looking for management level roles. I was told that I've experienced out of coordinator level roles. But yes, so manager, senior manager.
Got it. Okay, manager, senior manager. Okay, got it. And that makes sense, especially if you don't have the years of experience and you know they're ready, but you're looking to just supplement that with everything else. Okay, good. So where's your actual resume? Is it this resume and portfolio?
It's that, and then if you scroll through, I do have like a paper resume like Green Tea had as well. I'm not sure what is most effective, but you know, I can do art a little bit, so I decided to like put that together.
Now, but this is a good question: is when you're applying for roles, what are you submitting?
On the role, if it's like more on the marketing creative side, I submit the portfolio. If it's more on like the admin or project manager side, I submit the plan.
Got it. Makes sense. So you're kind of gauging based off of, you know, what you're applying for. And have you been getting any interviews just yet? Or like, tell me more about like, you know, when you started applying, have you been getting any interviews? Because I think that's also interesting to hear as we kind of look at this.
To be honest with you, I started doing this wrong. I was kind of just applying to anything and everything that made sense or I thought that I could do. I took a step back from that and started to like fine tune exactly like what companies I want to work for and what exactly I want to do. Lately, I have not been applying, but I have gotten for labels and one for Spotify that it honestly is the recruiting process. Like they make you do this project and they don't shoot it, never hear from you, or I'll get one interview and never hear back from them. So I would say that I'm stuck between the first interview process. Like I'll get that and then like hear nothing after that, or I'll get all the way through to the last process and then hear nothing after that.
Okay, got it. So, yeah, I think that's something.
That's a resume thing or just like a poor recruiter process.
Right, exactly. Because you shouldn't be getting ghosted. We need to stop ghosting in 2021 and kind of leave that in 2020. That definitely happens. But it's interesting because there's always a few rounds of the interview coaching of the actual interview process. It's never just one, and typically it's anywhere from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 to get into the role. So
depends on how high the level is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On average, I would say anywhere from 3 to 5 rounds. So doing a project is very commonplace. Even when we recruit managers, VPs, internal for our company, we make them do stuff as well. So I was saying there's nothing wrong there, but from a ghosting perspective, no one should be doing that. Okay, so let's look at so is this the more kind of looking for the more standard one? Because it's interesting when you talk about applying with a portfolio, because if you are submitting a portfolio to just a regular where it says upload your resume, depending on how it's constructed, if it's like a PDF or if it's like an image file, you might kind of like that might not jive as well. But if you do, what we typically recommend is if you do have an actual warm relationship or with the person, or you're sending it via email, that's fine. But are you going to these, labels and to these companies saying, and is the anticipation to send them a portfolio? Because I think that you could do really well with just a professional kind of standard resume. That's what I would suggest. So do you have that?
It wasn't up there, so I'm going to upload it right now. But
okay.
Usually as I find the role, I already know which companies I want to work for, so I just have my eyes on like notifications on people that already work there.
Mm-hmm.
The roles, I see the role that I want. Reach out to the person first and say like, hey guys, I'm interested in this role. Just wanted you to know what your thoughts are before I apply for it, because sometimes there's an internal way to apply, or sometimes there's a referral program that you get better use that than applying regularly. So I always ask if that's an option first. If they tell me to send them the resume, I send it to them. If they tell me to apply, they'll flag it, they flag it. I just uploaded my regular resume, so if you refresh, you can see it. But that's usually my go-to. Like I see the role, I ask them about it, and then I apply. And then usually I'll get like a first interview and then not hear anything back from after that.
Got it. One of the other key things I would add is you should optimize your title a bit, because artist marketing is really broad. If you're going for senior manager positions, why don't you have manager in your title, or senior manager, because you also want to align your profile with the roles that you're looking for. That's one of the biggest things that we typically tell clients as well. And I think that you can use that, because in addition to you going and doing this kind of outbound job seeking, you actually going to apply to jobs. Recruiters, headhunters, hiring managers, they're also on LinkedIn running searches for people with specific keywords. So if you're saying senior manager of marketing, senior manager of creative stuff, what have you, whatever these specific roles are, you're not going to get picked up if that's not part of your title, right? And I see we have a recruiter in the building. Alexandra, what's going on? I see her title is a tech recruiter at Mintech Agency. What's going on? Not to put you on the spot, but I'm sure she would agree that optimizing your actual headline as well can definitely make the difference between you maybe popping up on some more searches. So I just wanted to add that there, because I think that that's something that you should know. That can definitely get you some more hits for sure. But let's go ahead and deep dive into this resume. So let's see this. Okay, got it. So all right. So Christina Jerome, digital marketing, brand partnerships, yeah. And it's interesting too, because you seem like you're very ambitious and you have a lot of experience, and I love that. But one of the key things that I want to bring your attention to is that when you talk about events, digital marketing, brand partnerships, and project management, those are 4 separate job functions. And not to say that you couldn't do all those jobs in one, but you typically, you know, at the bigger the company you go, and this is like a company-based thing, those are all separate teams, right? There's like a digital marketing team, a partnerships team, a kind of PMO / project management, program management team, or there's like the events marketing team. So, you know, I think you got to be able to shape shift depending on that, you know, that actual role, because that could be another thing. They might think that your experience is just too broad and it's not specialized enough for the role that they're looking for. That's just one key thing. But as I look at this resume, and Amma, you could definitely jump in. The first things that I would say is that your bullet points are way too short. Like just looking at them, just create and execute artist marketing and rollout plans. I want to know immediately. I have so many questions just off of the first bullet point. Like, you know, how many, you know, what type of artists, you know, is there, you know, I think there's a lot more that you could kind of contribute and give up front. And I think that you got to think about it from like an XYZ perspective. Like I did X, so I created and executed artist marketing by doing Y. Like, how did you do that, right? I think that's kind of missing. And then Z, like, what did that actually result in? So that's the XYZ resume writing formula that we typically want to, you might want to use to really hone in on your accomplishments, because that's really what matters, right? Your accomplishments, your success stories, and your key impacts. So when I'm looking at this, being completely honest, I can't gauge any success stories or impacts from what you've done. I just see what you did. Like, I just see like the what, like, you know, manage social media accounts and strategy for each artist. That's not giving the recruiter, the hiring manager, enough to be like, wow. And you know, that's just feedback. So I would say that I think that your bullet points need to be a lot longer, and it could also be by way of the actual style of your resume. This is kind of like a little bit of a modern style, which is okay, but just be, you know, cognizant that you're losing a lot of resume real estate by having this type of format. So what I would do is I would want to reformat this. I love that you have a skill section. Skill section is really good. Because that way you're hitting these keywords like talent management, sales, brand partnerships, budget management, SEO. Like, you're killing it there. You're killing it on the skill side of things. But your format, I would really say, needs to change, and how you go about talking about your professional experience, just too brief. It needs to be a lot longer, a lot more in depth. And I would say to change it from relevant experience to professional experience, right? I think there needs to be some kind of naming switches there as well. So those are kind of small things that I would definitely say. I like that you have the city and state. That's good. California, Los Angeles. So those are just some key things, but I think this needs a rehaul completely though.
Right. And what I would also say to do is you spend so much time for working on your LinkedIn, making sure that your LinkedIn's all, you know, great. But at the end of the day, you don't even have a digital footprint that's linked to your LinkedIn from your resume. Now, as your resume is, you know, sent to all these different job boards, apply to this, apply to that, there are thousands of Christina Jeromes out there. So you want to make it easier for that hiring manager and recruiter as well. And by providing that LinkedIn link embedded inside this resume, you'll make it as easy as 1, 2, 3 for them to find the right Christina, as well as they'll be able to see, you know, a nice, well thought out, developed LinkedIn, because we just gave you phenomenal advice, and I know you'll go back and definitely change up a lot of things that we were touching upon.
So the portfolio does not count as an outbound link, or does it need to just say specifically LinkedIn?
So I would really say that you should have your LinkedIn link embedded in there, but like sometimes people have LinkedIn links that are extremely long. There is a if you play in the settings within LinkedIn, you can customize your hyperlink so it can basically just say your name or, you know, your business name, and that's it. There's no extra fluff in there, so it's kind of like that. And that looks super professional on a resume, as well as now it's kind of like a digital footprint to see, you know, wherever your resume goes, you know, so does your LinkedIn go. And at the end of the day, we're not shaking hands and kissing babies. We're not going to career fairs and networking. Your LinkedIn is now that virtual business card. So when you go to events and things like that, you're showing people your LinkedIn. Like when you're doing these online Zooms and stuff, you're dropping your LinkedIn link in that Zoom chat, or say, you know, you're on IG Live, you're dropping your LinkedIn somewhere, because that is the only professional social media based network that is, you know, really there to talk about your accolades and accomplishments and achievements.
Okay, so you prefer honestly
a LinkedIn link other than a portfolio. So I'm asking, because I don't give away my LinkedIn. Like, if you feel like you'll find it, it's there. But I think my portfolio shows more information on it. Like, it goes into detail on how I did all these things that you guys are asking. It links to, case studies. It links to my LinkedIn as well. But
yeah, I would say don't remove the portfolio. I mean, I think you can have both, right? Because someone might just be interested in seeing what you look like, right? Or they might want to, see things that might not be on your actual resume. Because it's one page, which I like, but there's also things that I'm sure that you could have put on your LinkedIn profile that might just be an extension of your resume. So I think that having that there just as a clickable link is just as good. And we advise that everybody have their LinkedIn on their resume as well. That's just kind of a standard. But yes, I think that to answer your direct question, I would definitely go ahead and do that.
Hi, I'm Alex. I am a recruiter for Mintech Agency, based out of Nashville, Tennessee.
I didn't say long, but I did want to add to Christina, as a recruiter, the first thing that I do whenever I get a resume is look for that person on LinkedIn. And keep your portfolio, because that's really important. But also, it's almost just like a habit where recruiters we go to LinkedIn. We want to see the person. We want to see their portfolio. So it's just one of those things that's just really important to have, and the easier it is for me to find you, the better it's going to be for me to continue to look through everything else that you have going on in your resume. Understood. I will add it today. Wow, you heard it here first.
Recruiter, thank you so much, Alex. Like, that's just perfect timing. I'm glad I invited you up so you could really tell her exactly from a professional standpoint what's really supposed to be included in professional.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually just driving home and I found this room. But I definitely, like I said, the first thing that I do is I go to that person's LinkedIn.
I don't know. It's just a habit, but just a lot of things like this, other recruiters do the same thing. I think kind of, for one, I do want to see if the resume matches the LinkedIn, because you'll get a lot of people who either they haven't updated their resume or their LinkedIn, or they have like jobs that they did on their
resume or don't have on their LinkedIn. So it's just making sure that everything flows together, everything matches. Because if there's a question. If I have a question about a candidate, especially if we have a lot of candidates for one role, then we're just going to go to the next one. So you want everything to just mirror each other, but definitely have it there. So, I have different, because we are an agency, so we work with other companies, like big companies. And so, they tell us, leave their LinkedIn link because we want to see that. So, we want all of that to match and go together. So I'm realizing I don't give out my LinkedIn because I tailor my resume to the specific job. So my LinkedIn and my resume are not going to match. Like if I'm applying for like an artist relations position or a project manager position, I'm going to go in and I'm going to change things to make it look like I'm sufficient in that in all of my roles. So are you thinking I should not be doing that? Should I be submitting the same resume that matches my LinkedIn? So are you switching the jobs or just the skills that you have on your resume? Both. So if I'm applying for an artist relations position, I'm going to change my Lunchbox Records role to project management, because that's literally what it is, the glorified project manager position. So for R&B, I do it's my own company. It's my own company. So I do everything there. So again, project manager, I'm changing it to content manager, whatever it is that seems to fit. But these roles all do coincide with things that I've done there. It's just changing the title of what it is that I do. And again, since I held all these roles, I can change it to whatever it is. I would just make it all flow on your LinkedIn. So if you do different
I guess, different things at these different companies, you can label those. Like, you can have that you worked at such and such agency or company and you did XYZ jobs. So you can label, you can have different jobs that you've done at different companies.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, as long as it's there, I think that's important.
And
But you can do how you want to. I'm just telling you that, a recruiter is going to look for you on LinkedIn. No, I totally get it. I just just comparing advice. I was told that I need to tailor my resume to every job, so that's what I've been spending time doing. Like, if it's an artist relations job, I'm looking at the sure that it's supposed to match my description. I'm copying and pasting, saying big pickup. Don't like some program that. So again, like I can give up my LinkedIn, but it's never going to match, like ever. And I don't want that to be an issue. Absolutely. I think you definitely put your LinkedIn in there. And if if a recruiter asks that question, I would just, explain that to them. But just make sure that whatever you have on your resume is also on your LinkedIn. Yes, it is. It's more so the titles, like I'm matching titles. So again, like if you're doing digital marketing, you're essentially a project manager as well. But like just because I don't have that word project manager on my resume, I feel like I'm being overlooked. So I'll go in and add project management, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Because a lot of these roles, again, are in music, they're just glorified project managers. Artist relations is a project management job, digital marketing and strategy with project management. They all kind of coincide together. This is why I have such varied experience, because I had to do a lot of these roles at other jobs. I just want it to be streamlined and make sense for whoever it is I'm giving it to, because I don't want to be passed up over a keyword or something, that they were looking for that's not there that I've done. Because damn near, if you name it in the music industry, I've done it, except rap and sing, literally. So it's just at this point, I'm kind of just confused.
Right.
Am I doing my resume to land these jobs? I've done everything.
Yeah, just trying to get into the door. I like that you're tailoring it. I mean, it makes sense to go ahead and tailor. When people typically say tailor, they're talking about the actual bullet points and skill sets, maybe adding or changing some things to kind of swap out a specific project or two to maybe speak a little bit more towards that role. You're going a little bit deeper than that and switching titles, which I don't want to say is a bad idea if it's working for you now, but that mismatch that is occurring and can occur, you just don't want it to negatively affect you. But I see where you're coming from in terms of you want to just show them that you can do the job. Like, doesn't matter what it's called. Like, I can do it. I can do everything. And that's where it's a little outside of, because it's a lot of different roles. And I think that in your case too, you might even benefit by having, one or two versions then, and kind of keep it a little bit more tailored. But I definitely would take the advice of going into LinkedIn and breaking out different roles at a specific company so that you can kind of put your other experiences or projects. Because let's be honest, any job that you get, you're going to do 100 different things. So I'm sure you have so much to talk about that you've done, success stories, accomplishments, impacts at each one of these roles. You can kind of just put that on LinkedIn and just break it out so that there's no question that, yeah, I've done project management, I've done events management, and I've done marketing management at Lunchbox. And then let's go to R&B Bay. I did this, and this, right? So I think that might paint a nice picture for you. But yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. But overall, I think you do need to still restructure and rework a lot of these bullet points because they're just too short in nature. And that's a big thing. So you can have a 2-page resume. I would never go past 2. And that's our take on it. But if you're going to have 2 pages, in my opinion, you definitely want to have 2 full pages. I don't like the 1 page and a third or 1 page and a half a page. So, but you have a lot of roles. So the rule of thumb is 4 to 6 bullet points per work experience. So I think that there's a lot of things that you can add, and it seems like you have those to add because you're always kind of going in and changing and shifting things around. So I think that there's a lot to work on here, but you have the right mentality. I think your actual resume just needs to be revamped though, for sure.
By just adding, elongating the bullet points. So essentially just taking what's on my portfolio and adding it to my resume, making it longer.
But making it a XYZ, right? Like I did X that resulted in by Y that resulted in Z. So it's not just adding content, adding the right content. Right. Yeah. So you should have some of that should mimic your resume. Mm-hmm. And if you have any additional questions too, as you're working on that, feel free to reach out and we can definitely jump in and kind of give you some more additional guidance there. But I think that you're definitely on the right track. Just getting the resume right, LinkedIn right is always a challenge,
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Absolutely.
Ebook on our website. If you can go to our website, we have a free ebook there, so you can kind of look at that. We do have, how to structure bullet points and how do you develop a robust resume. So you can definitely check out that free resource. Everyone, if it's on here, you can check out www.brandresumes.com. You'll be able to see all of our services. I mean, just go down to the bottom, you'll be able to get our free ebook where it just gives you the 7 best ways to really maximize the real estate on your resume and really wow that hiring manager, that recruiter. Because you never know when somebody will pop up in a clubhouse room.
Thank you.
Of course. And do we have time for one more?
If we have someone raise their hand, if not, we can just call it because this is the first of many. So.
For sure. All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. This has been excellent. I think that although we were able to help a few folks, this is definitely something that I definitely love that we were able to kind of get this done, and something that I want to do every Wednesday. It's going to be called Writing Wednesdays. We're going to jump on, be able to give this guidance. When you see the room pop up, ping your friends, let everybody know. Also follow me on Instagram, follow Amit, follow Richard as well. And shout out to Kristen, who's sitting in the audience. She's also part of the Brand Resumes family and team. Please follow her as well. We're going to be jumping on. You're going to see different faces, different people. It might be, some new faces next week, but we really want to just give people the guidance, give people the insight, because we are in a really digital age where this stuff matters. And just feel free to take a look at our site, brandresumes.com, reach out. And if you didn't get a chance to get your resume reviewed, if you don't want to wait till next week, go ahead and schedule a free consultation. We'll be more than happy to jump on a one-on-one and kind of walk you through that. But I just want to thank everybody for joining in the first ever Writing Wednesdays. I think this is excellent, and thank you all so much.
Yeah, definitely want to, shout out everybody that stayed here from the beginning to the end. We definitely appreciate you guys. And with that being said, we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you, Brandon.
Have a good night, everybody.